can get you by on lunch, but it's not going to be that high in calories, right? If we're talking about snacks, maybe 350 calories or so, when an actual meal, right, is going to be around 1,000 calories, maybe a little more than 1,000 calories, depending on what your body needs to sustain energy throughout a full day's work, right? Sometimes our days vary, so therefore our meals, snacks, amounts may vary as well. Very important to keep in mind. Now, once we've covered the do, right, just given a little synopsis, eating breakfast is something you can do, right? If you're big on drinking energy drinks in the morning or coffee in the morning, right? Try to have something light to help complement that. Adding your fiber, right? So when we talk about our concentrated juices, trying to get the juices with the pulp, okay? Balancing those fats, carbs, protein, sugars is going to be a part of these bistro boxes or protein boxes or snacks, if you will. And these are all the things that you can do to try to help the fake, easy, and cheap aspects that we've come to know in our society, present day. A few important things that we want to talk about now, do not do, okay? Unhealthy options, right? To be quite honest, you can do whatever you want in life. But when you come here and you ask for help, we're not going to continue to send you down these same areas that have led you to the point where you are now, right? We're going to try to get you to not drink your energy in low-calorie or no-calorie energy drinks, right? Red Bulls, Monsters, I don't care what it is, Zions, it doesn't matter to me. I personally have done that, and I know from my firsthand experience that drinking my energy may last for an hour or two, but by the midday or end day, it's no bueno. I feel lethargic. I cannot think as fast as I normally can. I can't necessarily pull words out of my brain, you know, to be able to communicate well. I am coaching constantly, so usually being tactful in the things that I say is very important. And one of the most important things about this is drinking energy. That was a lot of times because I didn't plan right. I didn't plan my breakfast, right? That's a very important thing, is planning out your days. Just a little thought process goes a long way. Another thing about unhealthy options is emotional eating, right? Emotional eating can be done, let's say, stressful days, right? It's hot out in the summertime. You're probably going to be a little more stressed than you may be in the winter times or the nicer weather, right? It's just another added factor, a stressor, to get us to reach for that energy drink, right? Because it's too difficult to think about adding fiber because we're already hot, we're already emotional, we're already stressed out. We don't really understand about balancing our carbs and our proteins when we're stressed out, right? We're trying to get immediate satisfaction in, right? So then in emotional states, okay, you're depressed, you're tired, okay? It could be a personal issue, could be work, could be family related, significant other, tons of different stressors that come out throughout our days and our everyday living. But the goal is to know where you are in the present, right? Don't trick yourself either. It's very easy to lie to yourself. Now, let's say you are in that emotional eating stage. Let's say there is not a grocery store that's near you or any type of food that you want. If you are going to choose to eat something quick, you know, fast food, convenience, I would say get the smallest amount that you can, okay? This is a real world thing, all right? You're on a trip to, you know, Mississippi. That's a far distance from Arizona, okay? You may have not planned your meals properly to take you to that whole trip, but you are going to need to get something in you. So if in fact you do go to one of those places, convenience store, fast food items, Starbucks, if you can get the smallest amount, that's one thing of being realistic about a difficult situation, right? Emotional eating. It affects men, it affects women. I've worked at LA Fitness and had bodybuilders come to me, literally grown women and grown men crying because they're so nutritionally depleted that they are now emotionally eating, right? So they did all this effort to get them to 3% body fat, and it's 3 days before competition, and they completely blow up. They start eating peanut butter, they start eating ice cream, they start eating anything and everything that they can get because they're emotionally distraught, right? We're not going to necessarily allow you to continue down that dysfunctional cycle, okay? That's a pattern. We do not want that for you because we want to give you options and choices that will make you healthier and continue those proper choices along the pathway. until you hit your goal, okay? Emotional eating here actually kind of goes with not being mindful, right? We also hit it over here on the easy part, right? Not being mindful, okay? There is something called mindful eating, all right? Where you're at your meal or your snack, whatever it may be. I'm going to be seated at a table for this example, but you're looking down at your food and you give thanks for that food. You can give thanks to the person who cooked it, if you're eating an animal product, you can give thanks to the actual animal, you can give it to God, you can give it to the universe, but you show appreciation for the effort of that food getting on your plate, okay? Then you don't just eat, right, like you're at an AmRamp trying to get as many plates of food in your mouth in the fastest time possible, okay? You're actually trying to be mindful of how you're eating your food, right? Are you actually chewing it 20, 30, 40 times? Or are you chewing it 5 times, 8 times, and then swallowing it, right? Those kinds of things, chewing it 8 times and then swallowing it, trying to rush through your food, those are called unmindful eating patterns. We don't necessarily want to do that, okay? When you talk about not being mindful, you kind of start thinking about, well, who cares? You know? Well, you should care. I should care. Why? Because when you care about things, you put value to your effort. So then you would completely mess up your cycle of development if you become careless, right? Always care about your efforts, okay? Always care about the other efforts, because people are watching you, whether or not you believe it or not. Your family members, your friends, your significant other, they're seeing you guys doing these certain things, okay? Children are huge in watching an older adult do something or mimic, and then they'll start doing that same pattern. And then we get into generations of families saying, well, I don't know why my child is like this. Oh, well, we've been like this for ages. Well, you can stop that. But you have to be mindful. You have to be thought-provoking in your effort so that you can attain your goals with more efficiency, less stress. Stresses are always going to be there. So realize that. Be comfortable with the uncertainty, right? Know that you are powerful enough, you value yourself enough to not choose fake items, to not choose easy items, to not choose cheap items, but you value yourself so much that you are going to try to at least implement some of these, right? Change doesn't happen in one set moment. It may take small successes for you to end up being successful, but ultimately realize that even one small step in the right direction may continue that path of moving in the proper direction. That's a very big deal. The last thing I want to talk about here is trying to understand it all, try to put it all together, right? If we understand what fake is, what easy is, what cheap is, we have these options, right, of healthier alternatives, little things that'll put us in that proper path. We are mindful of these unhealthy options, and even though these are going to keep coming up, right, you're always going to be emotional at some point. We're humans. Emotions are not a bad thing. Letting those emotions get out of control, that's when it starts to become a negative, dysfunctional pattern, right? But notice, going back to being mindful, right? If you can be mindful, you can plan your meals a little better, okay? So if you know that you're going to go to Starbucks, you always know where Starbucks is, or at Dutch Bros, or wherever it is you get your coffee, right? Look around there, right? Look and see what other options are there. If you go there 5 days a week, try one day out of the week where you choose something, right, in addition to your beverage, or completely remove that beverage that you normally give, the unhealthy option, and replace it with something healthy, and just see what happens, right? You'd be surprised at what happens when you actually try. Just because you try doesn't mean you have to like it or you have to love it. That's one thing that I was raised with. Always try something, but if you don't like it, you don't have to go back to it, right? And that was always based off of food, because I would put away so many things. I didn't like tomatoes. I just don't like tomatoes. I don't like the way they taste. But I know how healthy they are for me. As a male, we males have higher levels of prostate cancer because we're not eating enough of those tomato-type foods, which is important because what's in the tomato, right? Lycopene. Lycopene is one of the most important elements of anti-cancer fighting type nutrients, okay, that will help decrease a man's probability of getting prostate cancer, all right? If you men look up the probability of getting prostate cancer by the time you're 50 to 60 years old, you will be amazed to realize what you can do now to help prevent those instances of those types of cancers occurring just by being mindful of your present state or the past so that you can choose healthier options, right? Take your time in choosing these things, right? If we look at the state of the economy, right, just using economy or finances or anything like that, we typically never have this completely progressive linear movement, right? We may have this, right? And so these are just different days, different weeks of the month over a year's timeline, right? Give yourself a year. Why not? Everybody wants to get this done in 6 weeks. Nah. Let yourself have a year's worth of time to get this done if you really want to make some good changes to your overall lifestyle. But take a look at this depiction of the drawing, right? Nothing in life necessarily moves that way, okay? We people in business, they may always want that, you know, as a sales manager kind of thing, but they're going to see this, okay? You may start off up. You may have a couple of days where it's down. You may have a cheat day, a cheat meal, a cheat week, right? Here's a cheat week. Oh, but wait, look, now the next 3 weeks, man, you were on point up, but then you had a couple days where you went down. You brought it back up, then one meal you went down, then you stayed level or constant for a period of time, and then you started to bring that back up, right? So I'm not saying to think that you're just going to go boom, straight to the top, be number one, numero uno, this is going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Not necessarily. You're going to have some trials and tribulations, but this is what makes it worth it, right? So that you can pass on to those people that you see in class working out with you, right? Or those friends and family members that you want to help out, that you can tell. I hardly believe that you can look into somebody's eyes and see that they don't need help, right? Sometimes you can tell that somebody needs help by the things they say, their postures, their mannerisms, the way they're choosing to live their lifestyle, right? It's okay for you to say, hey, you know, try this. This is what worked for me. It may work for that person, it may not, but it may give them that inspiration or yourself to continue along that healthier option. I do believe I covered quite a bit of information in a small amount of time. So feel free to rewind, stop, play, slow down. Any of this information here can be applied to a general aspect, right? Each of you is different in your own abilities, okay? But realize that we all want to be valued. We all want to have value in the things that we do, right? So that we can continue to do those things that makes us feel good, right? That continues our society on a better path. One of those things is us as an individual becoming healthier for the person next to us, right? Significant other, friend, family member, person we're working out with. I know that you guys have done partner workouts here, and one of your partners has done the majority of the work. I personally don't like that. I would like to be able to work with my partner and take some of the strain off of them so we can even out the balance a little bit. In conclusion, that is all I have to offer you today. I hope that you guys continue to send your questions, comments, and concerns to either our Facebook page, our email address, nutrition@laveencrossfit.com, or give us a call. Check out our website, laveencrossfit.com. And of course, feel free to come in and see us here, and we will do what we can to take care of you guys and help implement these healthier alternatives in order to improve your efficiency, decreasing the unhealthy options, and giving you guys greater value in your efforts so that you can ultimately achieve your goals. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen, and I hope you success in your future endeavors. Thank you.